When I learned to let go of control and to let go of being a certain way, I was actually able to lose weight without trying, lose weight without restricting or dieting. Well, hello friends, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Meg, and my channel is all about empowering you to live healthy and free in your mind and your body and your spirit. And last week I shared with you all about my struggle with anorexia. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my past struggle with binge eating. I'd first like to begin with breaking down why you even binge in the first place. I'm also going to be sharing 7 tips that helped me break free from binge eating. I have not binged in almost 4 years, which is crazy. I never thought I would be saying that today. And there is not a day where my mind is obsessed with weight, with appearance, with what I'm eating, how many calories I'm eating. And I just pray that you are able to find that as well in your life. So first off, when we binge, it is because we have burst restricted. And when we restrict, it causes our brain to go into survival mode. There are 2 parts of our brain, and one of the parts of our brain, what a lot of people refer to as the primal brain, is what is responsible for kicking in those binge urges because our body is trying to protect us from starvation. And once that happens and we give into the binge, it then creates this feeling of guilt and feeling like we have to control again. We start to be afraid, and so that fear mindset leads us to go back to restricting and repeat the same cycle. Now, if you want to go back and look at this drawing, feel free to pause it, take a screenshot of it, and really think more about it later on. In summary, we binge because we restrict, and we restrict because we feel the need to control, we feel the need to meet a certain expectation, or we feel pressures that are put on us by society, by people, even by ourselves. And so the tips that I'm going to share with you today truly work, but they are very counterintuitive. They're counter what you would think someone would tell you to lose weight or to stop binging, but these things are backed by science. Again, a lot of the things I'm referencing came from Beating Binge Eating, which is a team of people that are trained in eating disorders. They have degrees on psychology, the psychology of our brain during an eating disorder. They know what they're talking about. And I can tell you from my experience, as well as thousands of other women that have gone through this program and used similar tactics, they can attest that this stuff really works. Which leads me into my first tip, and that is to change your mental talk. A lot of times when we talk to ourselves and when we think to ourselves, we're not very nice. Imagine if you talk to your best friend or your child the way that you talk to yourself. Would you do that? I know for me, a lot of times I would tell myself,
oh, if only you were this way.
And I would make choices out of,
you need to restrict because you don't want to put on a little bit of extra weight. What if your clothes stop fitting you the right way?
And I would never say that to my best friend. So why am I saying that to myself? Instead of constantly dwelling on what you're not doing right or dwelling in the guilt from maybe a binge, start thanking your body for what it does for you. Be thankful that you are alive today and that you have the opportunity to take steps in a different direction, and approach what your body is telling you with curiosity versus condemnation. When we just condemn our body or condemn our thoughts, we don't actually get to the root of the thought or why we're thinking it or why we're having this urge to binge. All we're telling ourselves is that we're bad or that we're not enough, and that never helped change anybody. It's time we started acknowledging our body and acknowledging our brain for what it's actually trying to do for us. It's trying to protect us. It's trying to help us. It's on our side. And it is possible to rewire your brain and to change these habits and form new healthy ones. Tip number 2 is to get rid of clothes that do not fit. I can tell you how many times I fell into restriction because I was still holding on to old clothes that either had a memory or were really cute and I couldn't wear them anymore. And I just needed to get rid of them because they were a constant reminder of what I was not in that season or what I wasn't seeing and that I wanted to see in the mirror. Getting rid of that really helped me, along with buying new clothes that actually fit me well. I don't mean go out on a shopping spree and cope through buying new clothes, but buy a few pieces that could be staples or that you could mix and match that are good quality and are gonna make you feel really good about your body right now, or as best as you can possibly feel. My third tip is to allow yourself foods that you used to deem off limits. And what I mean by this is if you have a craving for something, instead of restricting yourself, allow yourself to have that thing. What happens when we don't allow ourselves to have those cravings is that it doesn't go away. Our brain will continue to think about it and will eventually lead us to binge, most likely. The way our brain works is that when we tell it can't have something or it can't do something, that does not register in our brain. What registers in our brain is that thing over and over again. So if you tell yourself,
oh, I really want ice cream, but I shouldn't have ice cream because I ate a little too much this weekend or I binged yesterday,
all your brain hears is
ice cream, ice cream, ice cream.
It's like don't think of the pink elephant type of thing. You think of the pink elephant. For me, that thing was ice cream. When I would binge, I could eat so much ice cream, you guys. I could eat literally like 3 pints of ice cream plus tons of cereal and other foods that I deemed off limits, and it would just kind of spiral downwards. For about a month, I believe, I ate ice cream every single night after dinner. I found that that craving went away because my brain now knew that ice cream was not off limits, and it knew that I could have ice cream anytime I wanted it. And because my brain had that knowledge, there were a lot of times that I actually didn't really want ice cream anymore, so I wouldn't have it. This leads into my 4th tip, which is to eat enough protein and micronutrients at each meal. I feel like a broken record saying this because it helps so many different things. When we actually allow our body to eat enough protein, to eat enough carbs, fats, and fruits and veggies at each meal, a lot of times we'll find that those cravings go away, or we're actually full and we're satiated and we don't have an urge to binge. A good number of protein that I like to go off for each meal is about 20 to 35 grams. I don't want you to take that number and be religious with it or be controlling with it. It's just kind of a ballpark estimate of a good amount of protein so that you can actually meet your body's needs and allow yourself to feel full at each meal. On that note, don't forget to like and subscribe if you have found this video helpful, and share it with anyone else that you think could benefit from these tips. Tip number 5 is to make movement a pleasure versus a punishment. In the past, I used to work out to punish myself for how bad I had eaten the day before, and I was treating myself not very nicely. Like, I wouldn't go tell my best friend, again, going back to this example,
to go run 2 miles because they ate a piece of cake.
So I had to relearn a healthy relationship with working out as well. I honestly cut out most forms of cardio while I was going through binge eating recovery because I had taken it to such unhealthy extremes in the past through my journey with anorexia. I just didn't want to go back into those mindsets. So I just started focusing on walks. I would walk every morning. I would keep it to 30 minutes to an hour. I started to really fall in love with resistance training, and that is something that I still continue to do today and that I have found to be so beneficial, not only for my mental health, but also for my hormone health too. Tip number 6 is to journal or take mental notes about how you feel before, during, and after a meal. This might sound like a lot, so don't take it to the extreme and think you need to journal every single detail, every single second, because that would take way too much time. Take mental note of how you feel when you give in to foods that are cravings, or even if you find yourself binging again, write down the foods that you ate and write down how it made you feel. That way you can remember how you felt in future times, and you can know this binge is not going to lead me to feel more full or more energized. It's going to make me feel overfull, and it's going to make me feel sick, even sometimes to the point of throwing up. Keeping how you feel during meals on the forefront of your mind will help you to learn the art of mindfulness, and it will help you feel more in tune with your body, like you're actually having a conversation, which will lead you to choose meals that are going to be more nourishing, more satiating, and more energizing in the future. And a little side tip, something that helps me to be more present during my meals is not to be on a screen while I'm reading, and to really think about chewing my food and enjoying the food rather than just seeing it as something to breeze through and move on with my day. And the last tip, super simple, super quick, is to unfollow any social media accounts that are promoting unhealthy mindsets or unhealthy habits. Unfollow accounts that are not giving you optimism, that are not encouraging you, and they're putting further pressure on you to look a certain way. You will find when you start unfollowing people, it feels really good. It is like something lifts off of you because you're no longer being presented with these unrealistic standards of beauty. And even delete social media if you have to. There are time periods where I will completely get off social media because it gets too much into my brain, and I know I just need to detox. I need to take a break. I need to reestablish my boundaries, to reconnect with myself, with real people, and with God. It's when I learn to let go of control and to let go of being a certain way that I was actually able to lose weight without trying, lose weight without restricting or dieting, because I was becoming more in tune with my body and my spirit and what it actually needed moment by moment. That's not to say I do it perfectly now, but I feel like I understand my body. I know how to eat in ways that best allow me to experience energy, as well as give me freedom to have something when I want it without feeling like I need to overdo it or I need to eat the entire thing. And I honestly lost weight without even realizing it because my focus wasn't on losing weight. Now, I'm not promising that you are going to lose 20 pounds if you apply all these tips like I did, but I can assure you that you will notice positive changes in your mind and in your body, because your body will release the excess weight if it needs to. It took time. I did not release the excess weight in a month. It took me about 3 to 4 months before I started to feel less bloated. I wasn't as puffy anymore, and that was just part of my process. My body had to go through eating more nourishing foods and allowing myself more foods so that it could know that I wasn't going to starve it anymore. It could just relax and release and continue to live a healthy and free life. There is so much I could say about this topic and more I'd like to share with you on my own journey. So if you have specific questions, please feel free to DM me on my Instagram, reach out to me via email. I would love to help and support you in any way that I can. Keep pressing forward and keep reminding yourself that this is only a chapter in your life and you have so much more that is left to come, and it's not marked by an eating disorder. It's not going to be marked by control. It's going to be marked by the choices that you made to embrace this process, no matter how messy. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.